So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah. Now listen.
Swoopes sat on her horse months ago and prophesied doom for the Indiana Fever. Miss Caitlin Clark asserted that no one wanted to play in Indiana and boldly stated that no elite players would sign there.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. As always, appreciate your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Let's go. So I wanted to do a little bit of a dive into the Fever roster, what that looks like. Now that we've gotten through the bulk of the free agency offseason, we've seen a lot of changes.
Now, the Fever has just executed the largest free agency move in WNBA history.
And the way they came back the second game, it just makes you excited to, okay, I want to be a part of that. They didn't lay down and quit. They came back and actually try to beat us early, that next game.
Superstars make swoops and game-changing signings.
So y'all can record this, you cannot record it, but the biggest thing I want everybody to hear me say right now.
She has been incredibly silent. Have you ever witnessed someone disappear after speaking their mind? That's what's happening right now. Indiana just released a statement talking, and we're here to explain it all.
All right, Hoop Queens, gather around because we've got some major tea brewing in the WNBA. Indiana Fever just landed Brianna Turner in free agency. Brianna Turner. Let that sink in.
Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel before we dive into the juicy details. Keep up with the latest WNBA news, expert analysis, and all the drama that you won't find anywhere else. Now let's get started, But
I think you're starting to get a little bit more shine from maybe the casual fan. And maybe some folks who maybe didn't know or haven't seen Indiana as much as they've seen this year.
I agree.
So, what's that part like, getting a little bit more attention and getting a little bit more shine and getting the recognition that...
The Indiana Fever completely changed the game of free agency by building a powerhouse instead of just signing players. If you've ever played franchise mode in a video game and gone crazy in free agency, that's exactly what Indiana did. They stacked their roster with seasoned champions, tough opponents, and players who bring both skill and swagger. This wasn't a passive offer, rather it was a calculated takeover.
Yes. Wait. Yep. You look good on me, huh? Look good. Like a whole 360. Like, I think I was talking to my wife about it. I'm like, man, what if I go back to Indiana where I started? That'd be crazy. Look where I'm at.
In order to improve Indiana's defensive identity, they first acquired Natasha Howard, a three-time WNBA champion and one of the league's most formidable defensive forces. Howard doesn't just guard opponents, she eliminates them with her ability to switch onto any player, protect the rim, and command the glass.
Going for your services, Dawana, so why was this the right opportunity for you?
I just feel like it was the location for one. My kids are literally right up the road, and I've spent a lot of time away from them, so that and the core that they have here now is just kind of want to fit in, be another piece of the puzzle, and hopefully bring the energy dynamic and take us to a different level in the playoffs.
Then came Danana Bonner, a six-scorer who makes defensive matches a nightmare. Fever is a real postseason danger because of Bonner's clutch element and leadership expertise from championships.
In Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever are trading for a multi-dimensional wing, capable of knocking down the three ball.
Cunningham is starting to cook. Cunningham three is good.
Cunningham from the corner, locking down defenders.
Several deflections, and this time she gets the steal and the N1 opportunity.
And they hadn't finished. A living example of a spark plug is Sophie Cunningham. She thrives under pressure and plays with a chip on her shoulder, which Indiana sorely needed. To top it off, they added Sydney Coulson, seasoned presence with championship DNA who unites teams. The media has been spreading the same old story for months. No one wants to play for Indiana because the team is viewed as a dead zone where top players wouldn't even consider playing. Critics have dismissed the idea of major signing. Sheryl Swoopes has essentially sneered at the idea that because the team is just struggling and has little league appeal.
And that's where you brought up the fever. I think what I've learned in my WNBA experience is pace of play trumps physicality, it trumps size, it can trump experience, because a lot of times when you're experienced, it's really like code word for your veteran, which is code word for your old.
Slow the pace.
Yeah. So I feel like
I know that's why you guys were so good for those
in
years.
2018 and 2020, the years we won, that was our whole mantra, was pace, 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 pace. And what I see in Caitlin
Gone anywhere, but instead chose Indiana. This fact alone dispels the myth that the state is an undesirable place to visit, and the same analysts who dismissed Indiana are now arguing that no one wants to play their take on the game. With Caitlin Clark changed overnight, Indiana isn't just having trouble back there thanks to Mac's bold moves and a team that is suddenly among the best in the league.
Her face, unable to hit. Bree Jones, another 0 board for Connecticut. Better look for Mabry. Off the mark.
Stop dancing around it, please. This is the full impact of the Caitlin Clark effect. Caitlin Clark, a franchise-altering force that not only elevates her club, but also completely changes the WNBA landscape, is not just another rookie attempting to find her way in the league. She plays for the Indiana Fever. It's no coincidence that a team that has been having trouble for years suddenly becomes the league's most talked-about squad. The franchise is now a destination, a club worth watching, and a team worth joining thanks to Clark's arrival.
Oh, it's a triple-double for Caitlin. What a reaction by Kelsey. Well, how about the knowledgeable fans in this building? They burst out of their seats like it was a game win.
People want to be around players like Sophie Cunningham, who didn't skirt the truth when she signed with Indiana. Caitlin Clark was a factor. Players aren't just hearing about Clark's impressive shooting range or flashy assist. They're hearing about her leadership, competitive fire, and ability to improve her teammates. She's a magnet, drawing talent and attention to a once-overlooked team.
So when you talk about the young girls that came in, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, rookie class, really hyping up the league coming from college to the WNBA, what has it done for you and the buzz of this entire league?
I think it's so positive. I really do. I think it's a fun time to be a part of the W. I truly believe that. I think the skill and the talent has always been there, but now it's just the viewership. And so I give a big old clap to the rookie class. I think that's a lot to deal with when you're at that age and you have that many eyes on you. But I think they've done a great job in the league as well. I think the physicality and all that they're going to get used to, but I think especially Caitlin Clark, she's been killing.
Let's also talk about Sheryl Swoopes, who believed that Clark was overhyped and would take years to succeed in the professional ranks. However, Clark is already leading the league in assists, routinely scoring 40 points in games and changing the WNBA's power dynamics. Clark is the reason why Indiana is growing more hazardous rather than merely getting better.
I'm going to use her word. I want to see her continue to be a dog. She is a dog. Here's what I'll say about Angel. I love the fact that she's just her, right? And she says she's unapologetically Angel. She plays hard, both ends of the floor. It doesn't matter what the score is. The thing that I think people question wasn't so much about her game or her rebounding, but it was the scoring. And the fact that she is either averaging or almost averaging a double-double, it's pretty impressive to do from anybody, but in particular a rookie. I just love how she's come into this league. She's embraced the bumps, the bruises. She's embraced the good with the bad. And I love watching her play because she plays hard the entire game.
Although Caitlin Clark is breaking records and torching defenses, her influence goes far beyond the court. She's also driving record ticket sales, breaking TV viewership records, and igniting interest in the WNBA in a way that has never been seen before. Every Fever game feels like an event, and every matchup that features Clark becomes must-watch TV. This isn't just it's a movement.
Down here, wide open. Bang!
Sheryl Swoopes didn't see this coming. She thought Clark would have to prove herself and earn her spot over time. Instead, Clark entered the league and took it by storm, and she is now the main reason why the Indiana Fever are fill arenas, and truly transform the truth is that player is already here. Players want to play with, want to build around her. Fans want to see her. Caitlin Clark is changing the game's rules in real time rather than waiting her turn.
Swoopes has it, turns in the air for the game.
Before becoming one of the most electrifying players in WNBA history, Sheryl Swoopes was a sensation on the college stage, leading Texas Tech to the 1993 NCAA title with a record-setting 47-point performance in the championship game.
It's been a lot of fun. If you thought the Indiana Fever were dangerous the previous season, wait until you see how terrifying their projected starting five is for the upcoming season. This isn't just a strong lineup. It's a championship-caliber core that combines leadership, shooting defense, and youth experience. The Fever aren't just preparing for the future. They're ready to win now.
Last November, and the game didn't need saving. I don't know who came up with Caitlin was a savior. That's not true. But what the game needed was a disruption in the economic marketplace, and that's what we're seeing here, and that's why it's been so fun.
At the center of it all is Caitlin Clark, the team's face, a master scorer and playmaker who can pull up from anywhere on the court. Kelsey Mitchell, a pea shooter with quick offense who can take over a game in an instant, is next to her, and together they form one of the league's most lethal backcourts. Finally, there is Danana Boner, the veteran presence that every contender needs, clutch, defensive-minded, and battle-tested in the playoffs.
Down that slows the whole team down. It's her body and get to her spots and being able to affect that defense.
Clark is coming off a masterful night and starts us off.
The front court is as deadly. Natasha Howard is the enforcer this club needs, anchoring the paint with her rugged physicality and championship experience. This group, shooting defense leadership, championship DNA, and a potential Hall of Famer in the making. Aliyah Boston is a dominant force on both ends of the court. The rest of the league needs to pay attention because Indiana isn't coming to compete. They're coming to take over.
Absolutely. Just watching Fever last season is how young they were and also how they made it to the playoffs, as a young group. You really don't see that a lot in WNBA. But I was just really proud of their work ethic, how they were so hungry and they were passionate about winning games and stuff. They had each other, but they trusted each other out there, and that's the type of...
Made it clear that she wasn't buying into the hype. However, during a recent broadcast, commentators showered Clark with praise, marveling at her dominance on the court, and Swoopes sat there in complete silence for a full minute and 60 seconds of awkward, uncomfortable quiet without a rebuttal, a counter-argument, or an admission that perhaps she was mistaken. The woman who had a lot to say before the season abruptly ran out of things to say.
Picked up by Barnes. She drives right around her. Right baseline. Spinner in the lane. In and out. Back in again. That's so long.
Then came the most suspicious moment of all, when Indiana played Dallas, a game that would have required Swoopes to watch Clark humiliate a teenager live on television. She was oddly removed from the commentary. It seems improbable that when the receipts pile up and the takes begin to deteriorate like spoilt milk, it becomes increasingly difficult to reveal your face, and at this point, Swoopes appears to have vanished just as Clark is disproving all of her skeptics.